In this video, we'll discuss how to automate running a Hex project right after a DBT Cloud job. Let's dive in. We're going to jump right into the Shipyard for this one, and we're going to start with our DBT Cloud blueprints. So I'm going to search for DBT Cloud, and we want to start off with executing our DBT Cloud job. So if this is your first time using Shipyard and DBT Cloud, we have an authorization guide that you can click on here that will walk you through the steps you need to authorize Shipyard for DBT Cloud. I'm going to close that for right now. I'm going to name our vessel execute DBT Cloud job. Pull it up here. And then we need our service token from DBT Cloud. So let me copy and paste that in there. And then for your account ID and job ID, you can go and look at the job inside of DBT Cloud, and your account's going to be right after the accounts in the URL. So I'm going to copy that and paste it in. And then for job ID, that's going to be right after the job there. So you see 24990. I can paste that in as well. So this is going to set up this is going to start our DBT Cloud job. And so now we can set up our next blueprint. So we're going to need to set up a second DBT Cloud blueprint to check the run status so that we'll know when this finishes, so we can kick the Hex job right whenever the DBT Cloud job is finished. So we can check run status here for our DBT Cloud blueprint. And again, we're going to need our service token. And then the same account ID that we had from before, since we're running off the same accounts. The run ID, we can leave it blank since we're connecting it to an execute job vessel. So if you connect those two together in sequence, you don't have to fill in the run ID because it'll grab it from the vessel from before. So I can connect those together. Important to note that you can set up email notifications for failures here. And we also have guardrails for the number of retries, time between retries, and runtime cutoff. I'm going to go ahead and crank these up and this down, and I'll explain why I did that once we start running this one. And lastly, we need to set up our Hex blueprint here. So you can see if I search for Hex, you can see I have a run project here. I'm going to click that. Again, there's our authorization guide for Hex and Shipyard. We can close that. I'm going to name this Run Hex Project. And then project ID, I can go to my Hex project. You can see that's here if you click on variables. And then we want to go ahead and copy that. There, can copy and paste that in. And then our API token, I will copy and paste that as well. Okay, so now we're good and set up. Connect those together. So now looking at our full fleet here, you can see our first vessel is going to start the DBT Cloud job. If that's successful, it's going to check the run status, so it's going to check it. And so whenever that finishes successfully, then we're going to start the Hex project. So it looks like our fleet's set up like we want it to. So now we can go to our fleet settings and name this thing. So DBT Cloud to Hex. And then I can click Save and Finish. So when I click Save and Finish, this is going to take us to a page telling us that the fleet has been created successfully, as you see here. And now I can click Run Your Fleet. So whenever I click Run Your Fleet, that's going to tell us that it's scheduled it to run immediately. Inside of Shipyard, we call this an on-demand run. You can start an on-demand run inside of Shipyard anytime you're working with your fleet, no matter what tab you're on, with this purple Run Now button on the top right-hand corner of your screen. There's also two other ways that you can run your fleets using triggers. So we have a scheduling trigger that you can schedule based on time, and then we also have an API trigger that you can programmatically kick off a fleet run as well inside of this triggers tab here. You can see when you kick off an on-demand run, it's going to take you over to the fleet log page where you get a live view of what's happening inside of your fleet run, vessel by vessel. You can see that our execute DBT Cloud job has already started and finished. I can click into that. And it's going to give us the console output from this run. You can see the inputs as well as the password or the API key here hidden like a password, so someone can't click in and see your API key. But you can see we kicked off this job on that account. And then you can see check run status. You can see we got a red for that right now. That means that it failed. However, for our check run status, we have that for most of our blueprints. So whenever you start something, you usually want to check the run status so you can do something downstream. Whenever it comes back as a failure, that just means, hey, it's not done yet. So then it's going to retry and it's going to check again and see if it's finished. So you can see it's already restarted there, going back to that yellowish orange, and you can see it failed again. So it's going to wait a second and then retry a third time here, and then the DBT Cloud job should be done. And you can even see that inside of this. You can see that it's not yet completed. So that's why earlier I set the retries up to a larger number and then didn't give a time to wait, because the way it was set up, at the beginning is it'll wait 5 minutes. So if it fails, it'll wait 5 minutes and then try again. So depending on what your DBT Cloud job looks like, so if your DBT Cloud job usually takes around 30 minutes or something like that, you might set it up to try, and then whenever it fails that first time, maybe wait 20 minutes or wait 30 minutes and then retry a second time, just so you can get a better, you can get kind of in the ballpark of when it usually finishes. So it's not just keep trying and keep failing. So you can usually put a good educated guess in there with how long the DBT Cloud job is going to last of when you want those guardrails to be set up. You can see our check run status is now complete, so that DBT Cloud job has finished. So now it's going to kick off our Hex refresh now, or our Hex project. So you can see that one is yellow and started now. So you can see that one is completed. If I click into that, you're going to see that the project was successfully triggered here, and you can see your API token was hidden again. So now if I go into Hex and go down to our historical runs, you can see that we kicked this one off at 409, and you can see it's 409 up here. So in this video, we discussed how you can kick off a DBT Cloud run, and then the moment that it's finished, you can refresh or start your Hex project. If you have any questions about this solution or how you can use Shipyard in your organization, use the link in the description to set up a time to chat with our team of data experts. If you want to see more tutorials like this one, check out these related videos.